everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast, the Weekly Awakening. This is my weekly awakening for this week. I'm not even kidding you. I cannot take bedtime anymore. I'm serious. I'm sorry. Some nights that I do these during the week, I will have my kids and I come down here and I am not relaxed after trying to put them to bed. And if you have a child, I heard it gets better after the age of 10, but 10 and under, I might be wrong there. You know what I'm talking about, especially after working all day. It's just kind of crazy. And for whatever reason, bedtime is not easy. I'm telling you, it's not. It's easy when they're babies. That is the truth. Once they can start move around and get around maybe 3 or 4, it is so bad. It's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm not getting in bed. I'm not doing this, And then you get them rested and it's like, I need water. I need this. I'm like, just go the fuck to sleep. I'm sorry. Isn't that why she wrote that book? Who was the author? I can't remember. Go the fuck to sleep because you just want to read that. So that's how we're going to start it out this week, people. I'm just telling you that. Actually, I have some good awakenings. I've been feeling pretty good. If you guys have been following, if you've been following the podcast, I did not drop an episode. It was a bye week this week. I just decided to make it a bye week. Now, remember, before I get into the weekly awakening, please follow me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111. Also follow me on Facebook, the Hair Healer Facebook page. If you want to be on the show, if you want me to talk about something, if you just want to make a comment, suggestion, please email me at thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. And don't forget, I talked about it last week, I am on the Andocast. Don't forget to go check that out. You can watch us on YouTube, live on camera. We talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. And the one episode that just came out on Monday, we talk about drug addiction. Really, I met Andy 10 years ago in recovery, and we talk about his story. He just celebrated, oh my God, I cannot remember because we recorded this episode back in January, but 18 years, I believe. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. We talk recovery, drug addiction, all kinds. So go check out, link in my bio, the Andocast. How is everyone? How's everyone feeling? We have a mega exciting romantic week lined up for the world, for hopefully half of you, right? At least half of you are having a good romantic time or hope to be. The other half, not so much. So we'll try that for a later transit. But this new moon that's coming in on Saturday the 13th, I think that's Saturday the 13th, it's in Pisces, and it's in there with Neptune and Venus, which are already in a conjunction, and they're all going to be in a conjunction. So I have a lot of stuff that we are talking about and what kind of that means. So expect a very dreamy world, a dreamy place, right? If you're in a romantic relationship, this is a good time to bring some romance to it, find some romance, find new ways to bring romance, right? Because in relationships, in love, when we get out of that cocaine stage that I like to call it, the beginning stage, and we get comfortable, right? And especially years go on, we can sometimes say, I don't want to, I don't feel like doing it, or still ways, go bad. So find a way, if you're in a relationship, to bring the romance alive again. If you're new, there's going to be maybe some romantic times. And if you're single, there might be some romance coming to you. That is exciting. Now, let me say, with this Venus-Neptune conjunction, I always get a little nervous with this transits. I can't even say right now, but I can think of at least 3 different times that this transit has happened. And I get lost, right? I have Neptune in my 5th house, right? The house of love, romance, creativity, children, blah, blah, blah. But how it relates to romance, for me, when Neptune is in there, Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions, I like to say. It is the planet that blurs boundaries, that's very dreamy, very, Pisces. It's all over the place. So it's with Venus, when we love, all of a sudden I am like, I have too many stories I can't even get into what could be that. But if you know me, you know what I'm talking about. I am like running off and thinking about marrying, I don't know, this guy that I probably had a crush on that was like at the gym, right? And we'll talk and I'll believe and I'll just get carried away like I'm in a Disney movie. So that can happen too. So that's warned about that when we have this conjunction. Also, it is very dreamy, but our illusions and delusions can come about. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, wait, holy shit. Again, this big lessons in my life are facing my illusions and delusions when I think I have a perception that someone or something is a certain way or our connection is a certain way. And then all of a sudden, it's like drop, right? Nope. Drop that illusion, girlfriend. Drop that illusion. Who's acting out right now? Is it little Colleen coming out? Who's coming out to play? It's like drop the illusion. So that can happen, okay? So if you are someone like me who can get carried away in their mind with romance, with things, it might be like a wake-up time also, So look at this transit as more dreamy, more exciting, more romantic, but yet there is another side, but a much less side, right? This is actually a very good transit, but of delusions coming out, people not being authentic, disingenuous. You're seeing the real side of the romantic situation, so that can happen too, because what the new moon brings endings and new beginnings, right? So there has to be an ending to new beginning. So with this new moon, though, we plant new beginnings. So where else can we bring romance into our life, right? It doesn't just necessarily have to be the romantic, between partners and that kind of connection. So much comes from romance. I think last week I was talking about romancing the potential out of people. So how about we romance the potential in ourselves? How about we romance the potential in our creative projects with Venus there, right? How about we romanticize ourself? That just came to me because what I'm thinking, if you are single, this would be a good transit to like, hey, how do I fall in love with myself? Why don't you go and take yourself on a nice dinner? Go find something that you want to do, right? So we can bring romance into anything in our life, because what does romance mean? What does romance feel like, right? When romance is sexy and it almost feels like you're in a whole nother realm. You're not even paying attention to what's happening. So how can we take that into other avenues of our life to create beauty? Because so many wonderful things come from romance, just like they come from heartbreak. So remember that. Now, let me talk about a little bit into the weekly awakening that I've had. I think last week, if you've noticed, I didn't have the episode come out this week and I was off my social media. Some people announce it. I don't know when I'm going to be off of my social media. All I know is all of a sudden, I get overwhelmed and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to check anything and I'm not going to go in anything and I don't want to look for anything and I will just stop. I'll stop responding. I'll stop looking at it. It's almost like it all becomes overwhelmed and life is screaming at me like, go live life. Stop behind here. Stop worrying about this, that, and the other and trying to figure out, because I have a lot of social media across the board. Like, go live life. Like, all that's going to be there. And so and it happened Thursday morning. I was like, I'm not checking anything. And it went until I think Sunday. And I lived life. I enjoyed. I had great conversations. I hung out with someone that came into my life that's newer and had an amazing time. I was with my kids and I was just like, this is what life is about, and trying to, how can I find that balance again? How can I organize my life a little more? And I also got into a mindset of what is really important with what I'm creating and where I need to put my energy. So the weekly awakening this week, which was brought to you by a conversation I had someone in my life this week that really, again, I was feeling lost in what direction to take certain things and to go this way, or the other. And they stopped me and they were like, Colleen, just please stop. And I was like, okay. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you constantly creating in the future, right? As a manifester, we're taught we're supposed to always be in the future creating, blah, 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 blah. But the truth behind that, yes, to a level we are supposed to do that. The truth behind that is, what are we creating in the now? What are you creating in the now? He's like, this person said to me, wow, I love all your future ideas. And I see that. And I think that's beautiful. What are you doing today? What matters today? Don't even think about how you're going to get there. What are you creating today? What are you creating in the moment? And I think that this goes perfect with the Neptunian transit we have with Venus, also working our creative pleasures in the moon. We want to be in the future. We want to be way out there. We want to see our dreams, our goals, the life that we want to live, 10 years down the road, and we want to manifest that. And how do we get that? How do we get to that? How do we do this? So take this take this transit, all right, and figure out, how can I create in this moment, right? How can I create a romantic day with my partner or wannabe partner or with myself or something in this moment? How can I create romance in my creative projects? How can I create romance with my friends, right? So take that, channel that into this moment. So figure out If you're like me right now, if you're thinking 10 times ahead, whatever it is, if you want that house, that car, that job, that friend, that place, that person, that romantic partner, whatever it is, none of that's there. None of that, because tomorrow really is not there. This next minute, this next hour is not there. So what are you creating today? How are you creating that today? So ponder that, right? Feel that, especially as I talk a lot about old doors closing and new doors beginning. Now, today felt like spring here in the Philadelphia area. It was 62 degrees, and I was like, oh my God, please get me outside. Please, please get me outside. So I hope everyone went out and enjoyed the weather, because that is going to be the new beginning, right? This new moon, I think, also is solidifying, because we're almost to spring on the 21st. Okay, guess what? We closed this chapter. We closed, hopefully, actually, not just hopefully, I know, the only winter in COVID, right? We closed that shit. We closed that door. So what are we manifesting in our life? What new beginnings are coming? What new beginnings are coming? Because there's going to be a lot of new, beautiful beginnings. So staying in the now, creating, look, I'm looking at my little notes that I did here. What else did I write? What is important? Oh my God, I lost my thing. I was like, okay, the social media break. I'm like, you think that I would have so much to talk about. And I do, but I just spent so much time living and thinking and creating. And okay. I looked down here and I thought, being a better parent. Look, you could tell I got distracted because I lost half of my notes. And I thought to myself, going back to how I tied in the front, when I was laying with my kids trying to put them to bed, my son said to me, I'm happy you're using your happy voice, not your angry voice. And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that he even said that. I like how he put it that way, but also like how that's registering to him and how does that make him feel? And I looked down here at my notes and I said, being a better parent, because the notes that I'm looking at over here, because I have 1,500 notebooks, are things that I want to create in the now, right? I am not perfect. I am the hair healer, but I come from a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of darkness, a lot of character defects, a lot of patterns, a lot of things. I am so far from perfect. I make lots of mistakes. I will make mistakes for the rest of my life. That's what we're supposed to do. That's how our soul evolves. And as a mother of two wonderful, rambunctious little boys, kids are our greatest teacher. Okay, they see in us, when we look at our children, we see our own wounds, we see the reflection, we see the places we need to grow, where we don't need to grow constantly every day. I'm like showed in my face, oh my God, use your nice voice, not your mean voice. And I look down, being a better parent, because that is something I've been writing down on my manifestation list, is constantly being the right parent for my kids, or being the parent that they need. And they both need two different people, believe it or not. They need the loving core. They need their loving core self mother, but they both need kind of two different versions of me in a certain way, right? And both react differently, and both have different emotional needs, and different things are important to them. So then we take just one, now we have to consciously parent two. And that can be so hard, because honestly, I go all day, every day, 7 days a week. Yes, it's my own doing. Yes, most of the time I love it, but my kids get the brunt of it. Let's be honest. And I think I'm not the only one here as a working parent, like, who gets the brunt, our kids do in a certain way, right? Because I'm tired. I was thinking today, all they wanted was my attention. That's all. And I was driving them around. I was doing the kid. I took my son to Code Ninja. I took my other son here. Remy took a nap and he was really mad when he woke up. And then I went grocery shopping. Then I got home and I put them to bed, and I did this and did that, and running around. And each time they're just like, Mommy, I want attention. Mommy, they're not saying that, but it's coming out in different ways. And especially in the ways I don't like, that get me to react. And I just think, no, what do they need in this moment? Because you remember, Colleen, every month you write down being a better parent. That's how important it is, because I look at their little faces and I'm like, I just want to do the best I ever could. I was a young mother. I knew nothing. I think I had 2 years clean. I just started growing up myself, and I had Abram, and we've grown up together a lot. And I every day just strive to be the best mother. And it's funny, I think, because with this new moon, right? One of the things the moon rules is mother our environment. And I think it's in a pleasant spot. So right now, the parenting thing came up. So what ways with Venus in there too, can we romanticize our parenting, right? How, I don't know if that's actually a right term, romanticizing our parenting. How can we find joy in our parenting again, And if you feel joyless in your parenting, where is that coming from? Because it most likely is coming from something inside of you as well as the outside, right? Just the generic us going through the parent working COVID movements every day. But it's just hard, right? It's just hard. So what I'm going to do and how I'm going to tie this back full circle is tomorrow night when I put my kids to bed and they want to drive me crazy, I'm going to say, let's find the joy. How can you make this joyful, right? Instead of looking at this perception, instead of going to, because I'm already dreading it now. But hey, Colleen, let's have a shift of perception, right? Because that's important. Again, that's the Neptunian, just to tie it into your week. Big shift in perception. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to put my kids to bed tomorrow night, and it's going to be great. We're going to laugh. It's going to be funny. They're going to listen. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to bring joy to that. Because one day I don't want to look back and feel like I missed out on that, or look back and my kids be like, you were horrible at bedtime, blah, 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 blah. And it's funny because Abram, the other day, we were driving and I brought something up to him and he brought something up to me, and it's too personal. I can't speak about it, but it's something he remembered that happened to him in childhood at around 3 and 2.5. I would say it was an ongoing thing that was going on currently in our lives from the time he was 2.5 to 3.5, 4. And I was like, I froze and I was like, what? You remember that? You're not supposed to remember that. They said you don't start remembering things. Only your subconscious memory remembers things when you're 5 and under. How do you remember that? And that was a reality call because as parents, yes, it's hard, but the way we live, the way we act, the way we react is what our kids are going to be doing. And I do not want them to make the same mistakes. And I don't want to hurt them the same ways that I was hurt. I honestly have no idea why I went there this week. Apparently I was supposed to. Whoever's listening may need to hear that because all of a sudden, or maybe I need to hear it. And I said this before, half the time I'm speaking on here, saying things that I actually need to myself. And that is something that is constantly on my mind and one of the things I can feel insecure about is my level of parenting. And am I a good enough parent? Again, I have Venus in Cancer, so that parenting and mothering is very, very important to me. And it's funny too, this week, and we had the moon and right now, today, currently, the moon's in Aquarius, but it was in Capricorn. This whole week has been very funny. Something you don't know about me is, or maybe you already do. If you're a good friend of mine, you do, or maybe you just observed this about me. I am the most confident, insecure person in the room. Now, I've worked a long way. I've come a long way from my insecurities, a lot. I'm really not too much, but they still creep up. And I can walk in front of a room of 1,000 people and talk, and you would have no idea. But they still come up, and it seems, when the moon's in its Capricorn or in various positions that it's not happy in, I'm like, the thoughts that come up are like these, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this enough. I'm not this enough. Why does this person hates me? This is that. And that's something, especially working on the Andocast and putting my voice out there. And I'm okay. If you don't like me, I'm always like, F off, blah, blah, blah. But it's been interesting the more I put myself out there, the more I get more opinions, and you're just not going to please everyone. You're really, really not. And that's going to be okay. Some people you're going to please, and then all of a sudden you're going to offend them. And some people are going to do this and you're going to offend them. So it's always this fine balance. And what keeps coming up is like my words, or am I offending, or is that good enough? Or maybe I shouldn't have said that to that person, or should I say that to that person? Should I do that when I just want someone to say, no, Colleen, shh, be quiet. Stop. Be quiet. Because guess what? None of that even matters anymore. Just believe that you said what you need to say, you did what you needed to do, and be confident that you had the reaction or the encounter or the connection that was meant to happen. That was meant to happen. And all of that today, So to tie back into the weekly awakening of staying in the now, stay in the now of your creations, stay in the now of what you want to create, and how can you create something to work towards your dream, okay? Stop staying way, way far out in the dream and only creating out there. Bring it back to today and only create. And then focus, what can I do to be a better person today? What can I do to be a better mom today? What do I need to do to bring romance into my life? And again, I don't just mean relationship-wise, just bring some sort of that romantic energy, right? Think of a nice summer storm with it lightning and just the way that smells, and you're feeling good and it's warm and you just want to dance in the rain and not get electrocuted. Okay, bring that kind of vibration into your life this week. We're headed towards spring. It's beautiful here. Things are opening up. So find those ways to bring romance into the moment, into the now, into today, because that's all you have. And if you're stressing about romance, again, I bounced around between kids and romance. All you have is today with that partner or non-partner, new partner, old partner, whatever kind of partner it is. All you have is today. So figure out how you can bring romance into today. How can you bring your relationship alive today? How can you bring happiness into your relationships today? How can you create from all of this today? All right, I think you got the point. You're like, all right, Colleen, that's enough. Today's. That's what I just said to myself, actually. So that's the weekly awakening, everyone. Enjoy your new moon, whatever you do for your rituals, manifestations, whatever it is. This is a beautiful new romantic beginning. Find the romance somewhere in your life. Write that out. And again, I'll say this and shut up. If you are someone who really wants love and you don't have love and you haven't had love, focus on that. Write out your idea of a soulmate, right? With this new moon in Pisces, with the conjunction of Venus and Neptune, this is a perfect time to draw out who is your idea of a perfect person. Not what they look like. You can add that, but how do they act? How do they make you feel? What do they do? What kind of wonderful things do they bring to your life? What is important to you? Get honest with yourself in a partner and look deep, look in the soul. Don't look at the ego, look in the soul and write out that list. That is a beautiful and wonderful manifestation list for this time. Okay, I'll leave it with that. I hope everyone has a beautiful week, a beautiful new moon full of romance. I hope everyone's enjoying the warm weather and finally feeling themselves again, or this new version of who you are as we emerge out of COVID. Holy shit, it's been a year. When you're listening, it's been almost a year by this weekend. That is crazy to think about. All right, well, we survived a year. Who are you, right? Who are you now? Because you're not the person you were a year ago. I can promise you that. Who are you now? And fall in love again with that person that you are today. Thank you again. Make sure that you follow me on Facebook, The Hair Healer Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at The Hair Healer 1111. Follow on YouTube and across the board on Instagram and Facebook, The Andocast. I hope everyone has a fabulous week. I love you all. Thank you and goodbye.